Hi, I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
And I'm Arthur Nowlin.
And welcome to Making It Work. Arthur, I have something to tell you.
Okay.
The word is lying.
And? Did you do something that I'm not aware of? Or?
Well, a long time ago, remember? I don't know if you remember. I told you that I paid the mortgage, and I didn't, and I took the mortgage payment, and I bought something, and you were so nice and calm. But that...
I was devastated.
You were devastated?
Yes.
But you did it in a calm manner.
Absolutely. It was only because of my relationship with the Lord.
And I praise God for that, but that lie could have destroyed our household.
It was on the verge.
It was on the verge, really? That one little lie?
Absolutely.
Okay, because...
And you know, to be honest with you, you're still making it up.
I'm still making it up?
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it work.
Yeah.
Well, when you think about lying, though, it can destroy a relationship.
Absolutely.
It can destroy families. It can destroy a lifetime of work. I remember in high school, I attended Delphine Academy in Holly, Michigan, a Seventh-day Adventist boarding school. And under our word seniors, S-E-N-I-O-R, we had to list different sentences. And under I wrote down my irritation. And it stated that building relationships over a 2, 3, 4-year period or a lifetime, and how one lie destroys it. Well, we want you to visualize or go with us as we talk to Pat. You know, Arthur, Satan is the author of deception.
Absolutely.
He is the father of lies, but God is the author and finisher of our faith.
Yes.
And in this interview, we want you to go with us as Pat talks about her relationship with her husband and how lies and desertion and all these things took place in her marriage.
But also, we want to talk about her victory.
Her victory, we do.
Know, and that's really important. Even in the midst of what Satan may try to do,
yes,
God will help us to find a resolution and be victorious.
Well, let's join Pat being a victim of lies. Pat, I've been really very proud of you, how you have been moving forward in your therapy process. Let's talk about some of the changes you've made. When we talk about behavior or cognitive behavior, changing the way we think and view our behavior. And so I want us to review what brought you to Kim Logan Communication Counseling. And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, Dr. Kim. I started the process because I realized I really needed help. I was very strained in my marriage, and I was seeking avenues to find some relief and some processes where we could move forward. So I looked in the regular internet and found a counseling session near my house, and I went, and I went before, and I request a male, maybe to give me a different perspective, because I had previous counseling before regarding the same issues in the marriage. So I said, well, I'm gonna try it again, and I'm gonna flip it and try a male.
Okay.
So I went and I started counseling sessions with this particular individual, and things seemed to be starting pretty good. He was like, I'm doing an assessment, and we're gonna, you know, work out some things. And I was feeling like really, you know, happy, like promising, like thank God, help is coming, you know.
Yes, yes, yes.
And month after month, you know, I was hopeful, just being hopeful every month. And one particular session that stood out with me was when he said, okay, hold on, wait a minute. You know, we've been, you know, going through this for 9 months. And when he said 9 months, I could have like fell to the floor. Like, really? Like 9 months of my life, I've been here. And you haven't given me any tool to overcome the situation.
My Lord.
And I was very quiet, and I was like, well, thank you very much. And when I left his office, I went in my car and I began to cry. I began to cry, and I began to cry with God. I said, God, I need help. I can't do this. I can't move any further. I need help. I need some tools to get to my next level in my life. And I clearly heard the Lord, clearly said, you had been referred to me. And I remember someone talking about you some time ago.
Okay.
And it came back to my remembrance in the car when I was crying.
At that moment.
At that moment. So I scrambled through my phone. I was crying, looking through the phone. I heard God. I knew it was God. So I took my phone. I'm like, scrambling through. They said something weird. I don't know her name, but I remember the text. So it took me like 30 minutes to go through a text to find it. Finally found your number. And I said, I'm just going to call now. And I called, and you answered the phone.
My Lord.
And I was very surprised. I was like, oh. And I was like, well, I was just calling. I was trying to sound together, and I was crying and having a fit. And I was like, I just want to know, I need to, see you, and just see if you have any availability. You said, as a matter of fact, I do. I said, I was just wondering if you had any time today.
Yes.
And I felt led that maybe you heard something beyond that.
Oh, yes.
And you said, as a matter of fact, I do.
Yes.
And I left one counseling session to another the very same day.
My Lord.
Yes.
And it was one of the best things that you ever did. I know that. And because not about me, but it was about you. Let's talk about you when you had the situation with your husband and you were arrested.
Yes. So one of the series of things that was unraveling in my marriage, and I just kept having this hope that things were going to change.
Yes.
And I'll never forget, I came home one day and I felt the spirit of darkness. I just felt it when I came in the house. It was like, something feels different here. And it just turned bad all of a sudden. It was like he was in a different place, and it was like he just blinked. There was so much anger and frustration in him, and he turned around and he just kind of like grabbed me and just started to push me, bang me on the refrigerator. And I felt threatened, like, okay, it's something serious here. If I don't do something, something's going to turn bad.
Yes.
And the end result, to make a long story short, I called the police, and when they came, they looked at him and they looked at me, and in my struggle of protecting myself, he had a scratch or something on his face, and I didn't have anything. So they said, well, ma'am, I'm sorry, he has a scratch and you don't, so we're taking you. And it was like I couldn't believe it. Like, are you serious? This 300-pound man, and look at this scenario. We're sorry. And I went to jail, and it was just a life-changing situation.
How many days were you in jail?
A day.
You were there a day. And after you got out of jail, what did you do?
I directly went, I wasn't going back, and I went to a family's home that was vacant, that was, I guess, prepared for me. For me to, get myself together. So I went straight there and started the process of healing,
Yes.
In that situation. It was very traumatic.
But in the turn of events, your husband started to contact you after a period of time, and he started courting you. And in that, you went back. Now, you talk about abuse, and you hear women all the time being abused, but yet don't go back into it. Why did you go back, Pat?
I went back because he was convincing. And I said to myself, does he deserve a second chance? What happened? Did something happen that he came to the realization of what the event was? And he clearly, emphatically tried to portray that to me, that I'm a changed man and things are going to be better. And I mean, all-out pursuit, like all-out pursuit that I've never seen in him in the whole time of us being married. So I was like, okay, he's different.
So you saw a new man?
Yeah, it was like a new man. Yeah.
Okay, but at the same time, just lies, deceit,
yes, it was
deception.
It was a strategic, I guess, plot to draw me back in to that cycle.
Why do you think he was trying to draw you back in?
Control. I feel it was a control factor. It wasn't genuine. The fact that I can control this situation.
Yes.
So looking in hindsight.
Oh, yes. How many times did we listen to different tapes of your recordings you would have with your husband, and you would bring them to the therapeutic setting? Then one thing that I am so proud of you that changed was the way you communicated. if you all were arguing, you would argue. You would constantly keep the conversation going. And he would say, stop, Pat, because you were looking for something from him. What were you looking for before you learned through this counseling process how to change the way you communicated? Because now you got to a point, I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to do this anymore. But what were you looking for? What were you hoping for when you kept going back and forth with him?
I was looking for acceptance. I was looking for him to genuinely love and accept me. And I didn't get it. And I started learning different tools when I started coming to sessions with you. And I started viewing things in a different perspective that I never had before. I mean, the homework assignments you would give, the transparency that we shared, and just the things I was learning in the sessions was life-changing.
Praise God.
And I started to see the change in me, and I was like, what? I just did that for real? I learned that in the book. I learned that in the book that they had, and it was just so exciting. Like, oh wow, finally I can break this cycle, and I can have control, and I don't have to be drawn into that toxic situation.
Because it was toxic for you. Because I saw depression, I saw anxiety, I saw stress, I saw many, many sessions with the tears, and you're still searching for that acceptance and that approval from him. You moved out of the bedroom. Tell us about that.
Yes. So it was getting really heavy, and I was like, well, I got to get some reprieve. Let me just kind of reevaluate the situation. So I moved out to try to figure out what next move I'm going to make, and let me see how he handles this move, because he's not seeing my heart. He's not feeling what I'm trying to say. So I moved out of the bedroom, and I don't know why I was surprised, but to my surprise, there was no words exchanged.
Nothing.
He got up the next morning like it was just a nice sunny day. Like, it doesn't mean nothing. You mean nothing.
How did you feel about that? How did that make you feel?
It cut me. It really cut me. Like, you have no value to me. Not even a question of, are you okay? Why did you move out? Like, what's happening? He went on as the status quo. Everything's good.
And then even after moving out, you moved back in. And when you moved back in to the master bedroom, he moved out.
Yes. He didn't skip a beat. So I came to him, I was like, let's not be like this. Come on, let's work it out. Let's pray. Let's get some kind of tool. Let's get counseling together. I'm going by myself. Let's do something. Nope, it's you. And I'm like, wow. So I thought maybe if I just show him, when he comes back for work, I'll just be back in the room, like, let's just talk it out, or let's come together. And I never forget that day, like another cut. He came in, and he felt that I was in the room. He cut on the light to double check, and he seen me, he looked, and he cut off the light and slammed the door. And he never came back. So I was like, wow, okay. This is a new thing. So I would come to counseling sessions and get more information, how to deal with another disappointment, another situation of rejection.
Because I didn't want you to have a setback, because again, it was so easy to just go back into that level of depression that we have been pulling so hard to get you out of. I even brought my husband into, as part of one of the tools to help you to be able to talk about it from a male perspective.
Yes.
How did that help you?
That was pivotal for me to not only get a perspective from a woman, but yet that male perspective that I was looking for when I initially went to the other counseling session, it worked. It's like he heard my heart. It's like he felt what my husband was going through, but yet he allowed me to kind of process my thoughts to say, well, listen, there comes a time that you have to make a decision. And if that was real, it was really real. Like, he doesn't want the tools. You can't make anybody.
No, you can't.
You can't make anyone love you. You can't make anyone, get the tools in anything in life to be successful. Too much is given, much is required.
That's it. Let's assess some of your tools, okay? Your tools of how you communicate with yourself now, how you listen to yourself now. How important does that play a role in your life now, in your healing?
It's absolutely essential. Like, I'm not scared of, sometimes I would be scared to listen to the voice inside of me because I was such in a bad place. I was hurting so much. Like, how do I get out of this? And now I can sit in a room with total silence and have such joy and peace. And I was telling you one session before, I said, Dr. Kim, I sat in a room with tears coming down my face of joy. I hadn't felt that in such a long time. Years of hoping, years of rejection, years of, condescending words, and, just so many years of that. And to just be able to have the strength to come out. Yes. It's exciting.
I know you made a decision to move out of your home, and he even helped pack your things up. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I made a clear decision to move out. The Lord spoke to me clearly, and I called him, and I told him, what my decision was. I said, I understand that you're doing some things that you feel that you need to do with your life, and I just want to let you know I'm doing the same. So when you get back, I won't be here. And his response was, okay, girl.
Okay, girl.
Okay, girl. Like
you're just pals.
Yeah, pals, co-worker. And I was like, okay. And when I came to get to the remainder of my things, he had already had it all packed and ready for me. And I was like, wow, thank you. And I took my things, and I knew there was the turning of events. It was the end.
Have you seen him since?
No.
Okay. No communication?
Not a call, not anything.
Not anything. When you look at your communication process or your counseling process, and you look at him today, what do you see in his behavior? Avoidance, denial.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you see those type of characteristics? And the behavior itself, when we talk about cognitive behavior therapy, would you recommend therapy for your own husband to say you need some help?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because that behavior will have an end result of repetition of the things that maybe his core fear of being abandoned. And you're actually making that repetition by your behavior and not seeing the end result of your behavior is causing these things to happen. It's not just happening. And you have to, have accountability for your actions.
Yes, accountability.
Yes, and unfortunately that was a challenge for him.
Okay. Are you depressed now?
Absolutely not. I have joy unspeakable.
Are you angry?
Not at all.
Are you disappointed in the way your life has turned and the direction it's going in now?
I'm actually humbled by it. Just when I actually just stepped out on God and knowing that he was speaking to me, it was like a new door. It's like I just had a visual of like doors flying open. It started to just change immediately when I just stepped out.
Yes.
And I just really believe that that's what God was waiting for.
Where do we go now, in your opinion? Because this is about you in your counseling process. Where would you like to go next? Because we've had a long journey getting you from that first day to today. What's next for Pat?
A continuation. I mean, you still need the counsel because it's still a process. And you have to walk out the process.
Yes.
And you can't get too zealous. You have to continue to seek God, seek the counsel that God puts before you, so that you can continue in the things that God wants. And I'm there, like, it's not ending. I'm like, Dr. Kim, I'm calling you, like, when is my next session? It does not end here. Like, it's just been
we're connected.
Yes.
We're connected. Well, I have to say that through the process, both my husband and I, we're so proud of you. The light that's in your eyes, a glow that's in your voice, the way you speak about your relationship with Jesus Christ, being your all in all. What would you say to someone going through what you have come out of? What would you say?
I would say to anyone that's going through a situation that's dark, that you cannot see your way, I would say to you, if you can just turn your face, if you can just turn your face to the one that can give you that path, the path of righteousness, that path that you can see a brighter day. And a lot of people are scared because they don't know what that unknown is, and it's real. It's real.
Oh, yes.
But when you can just turn your face and believe that things is going to get better, that's what I would say. It will. It will.
Well, Pat, as we continue the journey, and in counseling, events will happen, things will come up, and you have my commitment, you have our commitment here that we will be there for you. And now as we close out this process of going into the divorce, we will go through divorce care counseling, and I will be here for you. I want to thank you for sharing your testimony, your story, and letting people know that God will see you through. Thank you, sweetheart. God bless you. Thank you. Arthur, all the things that Pat has gone through.
Wow.
But God is bringing her through.
God is a good God. Her relation, you know, Pat continued to demonstrate a sense of commitment to save her marriage more than anything else. She found us, and she wanted to make sure she was doing everything that she could possibly do to assist in trying to resolve the differences. She was committed.
Oh, she was more than committed. She loved her husband.
Yes.
But he didn't love her.
He became confused about something, and you know, we're talking about a man that showed commitment towards the people that he worked with and sensitivity towards the people that he worked with. But when he came home, he became ice cold.
He disconnected totally from
Yes.
Pat. And then she didn't even see it coming.
No.
And now, how does that happen? You live with someone and you don't even recognize the signs that they're about to move out of the home or divorce you.
Well, you know, it can happen that way because you feel comfortable with who you are. You know that you're doing the right things. So you may not see it coming. But what really stands out is the fact that this man made a decision that he wanted to leave the bedroom. He didn't want to be involved with her in any way whatsoever. He wanted to cut her off as far as financially, you know. So it was really something that caused a lot of tension and frustration, and well, we have to look at the fact that she didn't know how to handle it.
She didn't. You know, I remember when I got her call. I got a call from her, and I was in the office by myself that day, and Pat was crying. And she said she was sitting in her therapist's parking lot, and she says, "I need help." She said, "I need Jesus Christ." She says, "I have a therapist who does not pray with me, and I was referred to you, Dr. Kim. I was referred to you and your husband." That day, I had an opening. Normally, I don't have an opening in my schedule. And the Lord interceded on her behalf, and the Lord allowed her to come. The Bible says in John 14:1, "Let not your heart be troubled. If ye believe in God, believe also in me. For in my Father's house there are many mansions." So she trusted God. And Arthur, your favorite scripture?
Proverbs 3, verse 5.
Yes.
And we're talking about trusting in the Lord with all thy heart. And most importantly, acknowledge him.
That's right.
And he will direct your path.
And see, the key is Pat did not lean on herself. She leaned on God. Let's talk about the solutions. What did we advise Pat to do? What can we do to help our couples?
We told Pat that we wanted her to look at how to get within herself and recognize that she can only do what she can do to improve the relationship, but don't lose who she is as an individual.
That's excellent. Also holding herself accountable to get busy in her own life. She had a beauty salon, being able to motivate herself and become more creative. And most of all, she never stopped worshiping God.
She didn't stop worshiping God, but she also continued to reach out to her husband, and she kept getting rejected.
And therefore she had to move forward. Do you know they attend the same church? They attend the same church.
They still attend the same church.
Yes, they do.
You know.
And so and helping her not to hate and be angry. You cannot hate anyone. You must forgive, because in order for God to forgive you, we must forgive others.
You know what was another ironic thing that occurred with that relationship was the fact that when he made a decision, or when Pat made a decision to move out of the house, he assisted her.
Yes, he did. He helped her pack. He helped let her get everything out. He was nice, he was kind,
Yes.
and she said, thank you. Now she has moved into her own new place, and she has no regrets because she knows she did everything that she could do.
And her business is thriving.
It is thriving. Again, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not to thy own understanding.
In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct their path.
I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
I'm Arthur Nowlin.
God bless.